Who gonna turn down $50 million? Now, I've had to turn down $50 million 4 times. 4 times. I came in this business saying I was going to expose. When I talked about Michael Jackson, when I talked about R. Kelly, they canceled me for these things because why would you talk about another black dude? Race is not where the line is drawn. It's God's side and the other side.
This man put up a $50 million bond. $50 million bond. And the judge still said, you're denied. Do not pass go. Do not collect $200. You're going to jail. You're finna be in chains.
Period. Period. All of these big deviants is all catching hell in 2024. It's up for all of them. It don't matter if you Diddy or whoever you is.
Welcome back, everyone. Today we're diving deep into a jaw-dropping revelation as comedian Katt Williams explores the explosive details behind Diddy's infamous $1 million freak-off contract proposal with him. What does it mean for the industry, and how has this bombshell rocked the entertainment world? Stay tuned as we break down the scandal, the implications, and everything you need to know about this shocking expose. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell icon to stay updated with our latest content.
Who gonna turn down $50 million? Now, I've had to turn down $50 million 4 times. 4 times. Just to protect my integrity and that virgin hole I was telling you about. Right. Because P. Diddy be wanting the body. And
the rumors about Diddy's recent arrest just keep getting messier. Word is Katt Williams was one of the people Diddy tried to mess with at those wild parties. Apparently, Diddy was so eager to get close to Katt that he even offered him $50 million for 10 years of access to his body. But wait, y'all, it gets even worse. Diddy didn't want to just misuse Katt's body. Allegedly, he put a clause in the contract saying he and his party crew could sleep with Katt without any protection, lube, or even baby oil. They just wanted to humiliate him and go in raw.
Because P. Diddy be wanting the body. And you gotta tell him no. You got to tell him no. I did. I did. See, I got the receipts for everything I'm telling you.
According to Katt, he's got all the receipts to back it up and is ready to hand them over to the feds the moment they ask. So as most of y'all probably know by now, Diddy is sitting in prison after Homeland Security busted him for exploitation and bringing unsuspecting people into the U.S. for his infamous freak-off parties. Right now, Diddy is looking at up to 100 years in prison. And to make things worse, a judge just denied his bail. This is after he offered $50 million, plus both his and his mom's mansions in Miami as collateral. He even put up his passport and the passports of all of his kids. Yes, even his innocent 1-year-old who literally just got here.
Out of all the news today, I think I'm still stuck on this $50 million bond because if you look at the fact that in California, the average bail amount for is $2 million and your bond amount is 10% of that, right? So that's $200,000. And you can pay your bond by putting up your house, putting up your assets, whatever the case may be. But this man paid off an $18 million home and the judge just said, nah, you gonna sit in jail.
According to the indictment, released the day after his arrest, the charges against Diddy go all the way back to 2008. The reason he got away with it for so long is because he wasn't working alone. He had some really powerful people backing him up. Plus, he had hotels across the U.S. on his payroll and people making sure his victims stayed quiet, or even, allegedly, unalived. It turns out Diddy was actually the leader of a criminal operation involved in exploitation, forced labor, transporting people across state lines for adult working, kidnapping, racketeering, arson, bribery, and even obstruction of justice. He would reportedly use threats, force, and manipulation to make women participate in those freak-offs with male workers. And he didn't stop there. He set up and filmed the whole thing, making dozens of videos.
But I'm gonna say it again. I don't care what you have. I don't care what your life looks like. I don't give what other people have. I really don't. Because what did you do to get it? How did you end up in the position that you're in? Because the fact of the matter is, if you did something dirty to get where you are, you will have to pay the debt of your transgressions. You will have to pay it in full. It might not be on this side. It might be on the other side. But you will never escape the return on the investment that you made to get where you are. And the return on your investment might be jail.
All right, we are getting some breaking news right now. ABC News has just confirmed that Sean Diddy Combs was arrested tonight in New York City.
These wild freak-off parties could go on for days, and Diddy's victims were often given IV fluids to recover from all the use and exhaustion. But hold up, it gets even worse. Most of these victims were flown into the U.S. and forced into these horrible activities they never wanted to be a part of. Diddy and his crew would use tons of lube and baby oil on these women and men to make it easier to become intimate with their bodies.
His lawyers did everything they can, presented a package, keeping track of every single individual he would come into contact with. But the nature of the charges would make that very, very difficult, especially with someone so high profile like Diddy.
During the raid at Diddy's house a few months ago, the feds found all kinds of stuff. They discovered thousands of bottles of baby oil and lubricant, along with videos of the performances. They also found arms and ammunition, including 3 AR-15s, with scratched-off serial numbers, all stuffed in his bedroom closet in Miami.
We're now getting a closer look at the mountains of evidence federal investigators collected at the homes of P. Diddy leading up to his indictment. This includes things like guns, ammunition, electronic evidence, and more than 1,000 bottles of baby oil and personal lubricant.
As you can imagine, this was a big breakthrough for everyone involved in the case. For a while, it looked like it might just end with lawsuits and that Diddy wouldn't face any jail time. A lot of people were mentioned, including Cassie, Jaguar Wright, and anyone who has spoken out about Diddy in the past.
I need that perp walk. So as I keep reaching out to victims, I can let them know it's safe to come outside.
One person everyone keeps talking about is Katt Williams. At the start of the year, he said that 2024 would be the year of truth, and he wasn't wrong. In his now famous interview with Shannon Sharpe, he even mentioned that Diddy would be exposed this year.
All of these big deviants is all catching hell in 2024. It's up for all of them. It don't matter if you Diddy or whoever you is, TG Jakes, any of them. All lies will be exposed. That's all. And anyone who takes that the wrong way, know why they take it the wrong way. The truth is the light.
I need to have no more of these.
Amen. Amen.
Now here's a clip from that interview making the rounds where Katt makes some shocking claims. He says Diddy offered him over $50 million, not once, not twice, not even 3 times, but 4 different times to join in a freak-off.
Who gonna turn down $50 million? Now, I've had to turn down $50 million 4 times. 4 times.
You're probably wondering why Diddy would offer Katt such a huge amount of money so many times. Well, it turns out Diddy was trying to recruit Katt to be a power bottom for those freak-off parties. Katt said he'd turned down the offers and stayed away from any Diddy party because that was the only way to protect himself. I had to turn down $50 million 4 times, just to protect my integrity and that virgin part I was telling you about, Katt explained. Because P. Diddy be wanting the body, and you got to tell him no. You got to tell him no. I did. See, I got the receipts for everything, I'm telling you. That's why I can say them, because I'm favored by God. Like when I see people's wives and stuff, I don't even look at them. You know what I mean? I don't want to look at nothing I don't want to have, because I know how blessed I am. If I look at it, I got it. That's how Diddy be feeling. Katt also mentioned that Diddy wasn't the only one trying to make him a power bottom. He said there was a time when Harvey Weinstein flat out demanded he perform a certain act to get a movie role, but Katt refused. They canceled me for talking about Harvey Weinstein before the thing came out, but he offered to do that in front of all my people at my agency. What am I supposed to do? He did all of that. I'm thinking I'm the only black person on the script, but when I get there, it's 3 other black guys on there. So you wonder what they did to get it. I told him no. And this is why when I walk into a room, heads go down, Katt added. Then there was the time when Ice Cube and the producers of Friday After Next wanted Katt to film a scene where he was attacked by Terry Crews because they thought it would be funny. Katt called him out for this, saying he wouldn't do it because there's nothing funny about someone being attacked. What I'm saying is, if I did it and I did a good job at it, you can thank me. I was involved, right? But I'm not going to come later on and tell you I never even read the whole script. So how do you know what my role was? What do you mean you never read? These guys' whole job is to present something, unfortunately. And I'm not just a presenter. If you ask me a question, I'm going to tell you the truth of how it went, Katt said in an interview. Katt continued, the Money Mike in the original script got aid in the behind in the bathroom, and that's what Ricky Smiley was okay with. Katt Williams had to take the risk in front of the studios, the cast, and all the powers that be in his very first movie and say respectfully and humbly, guys, if we're talking about anything else, I have no credibility and no pull. But we're talking about comedy, right? Where I have all the credibility and all the pull. The problem with Friday After Next is we're trying to make a classic comedy, and this comedy involves attack, which is never funny, no matter who it happens to or what the circumstances are. If you would allow me to let us do this movie without a black man getting aid, I promise you that it would be twice as funny as it would be with him getting aid. This is wild. If Katt didn't have his strong morals, he would have definitely been mistreated and used in the industry like an object. Some people are surprised he made it out of those situations unharmed because Diddy usually doesn't let anyone go easily, especially after suggesting something like this. He knows how easily they could spill the beans to the blogs.
Now, I've had to turn down $50 million 4 times. 4 times. Just to protect my integrity and that virgin hole I was telling you about. Right. Because P. Diddy be wanting the body. And you gotta tell him no. You got to tell him no. I did.
In fact, this behavior came to light in his indictment, where it said he choked, shoved, hit, and kicked people, leaving them with injuries that took days or weeks to heal. His employees and associates sometimes stopped victims from leaving or even tracked those down who tried to escape. He also used explicit recordings to keep women quiet and obedient. Plus, he controlled his victims by promising them career opportunities, withholding financial support, dictating how they should look, monitoring their health, and deciding where they could live. As the threat of criminal charges grew, Diddy and his associates pressured witnesses and victims to stay quiet, offering bribes and spreading false stories about what happened. Prosecutors also made some shocking claims, saying Diddy and an unnamed co-conspirator kidnapped somebody at G Point in December 2011 to help break into another person's home. 2 weeks later, they said Diddy set fire to someone's car by cutting open the convertible top and dropping in a Molotov cocktail. What a mess! Keep in mind, the trial hasn't even started yet, and these are just the early accusations. Most of these claims will be explained in detail in court, and things are only going to get worse for him. As for Katt, he did his part by giving us a heads up, and now he's just sitting back and watching everything unfold. As usual, people had a lot to say about this. One person pointed out, Katt Williams said this would be the year when everything comes to light. The door is now open. More truths need to come out. Diddy isn't alone. I've been creeped out by this guy for decades. Finally, props to Cassie for being brave enough to speak up. Another person chimed in. We also need to look into the demise of Kim Porter, Tupac Shakur, and Biggie Smalls, along with that 1999 nightclub incident where Shine took the fall. This all needs investigation too. If you haven't heard the latest news, Sean Diddy Combs was ordered to be held without bail this week after being charged with S-teaking, racketeering conspiracy, and transporting people for adult workers. He pleaded not guilty to the charges in federal court in New York City.
But we broke a story that Diddy got arrested last night.
Arrested last night in New York City by the feds.
And I got to tell you, Charles, I have never read 14 pages that contained so much shocking information and allegations.
U.S. Magistrate Judge Robin Tarnofsky ordered Combs to be held after hearing from both prosecutors and his legal team on Tuesday afternoon. Combs' attorney, Mark Agnifilo, appealed the decision on Wednesday but lost. Prosecutors argued that Combs poses an ongoing and significant danger to the community, has repeatedly tried to obstruct justice, and is a serious flight risk. Meanwhile, his lawyers asked him to be released on bond. After Tuesday's hearing, Agnifilo told reporters outside the federal courthouse in Lower Manhattan that Combs didn't do what the prosecutors claimed, and that he's ready to fight the charges all the way. He's been looking forward to this day, Agnifilo said. He's been looking forward to clearing his name, and he's going to clear his name. The charges were laid out in an indictment that was made public on Tuesday morning after the hip-hop mogul was taken into custody by federal authorities in New York the night before. Multiple law enforcement sources told CBS News this was part of an ongoing investigation by Homeland Security Investigations.
We're outside the MDC Brooklyn. This is the Metropolitan Detention Center in Brooklyn, and the side entrance where you can see there is a significant gate held by the U.S. Department of Justice Federal Bureau of Prisons. As we look up at this building, we're not sure which window is Diddy's, but this is where he is being held. And a federal judge has said this is where he's going to stay until he goes to trial. When that will be.
In the indictment, prosecutors claimed that since 2008, Combs has been involved in a criminal organization that took part in or tried to take part in S-teaking, forced labor, kidnapping, arson, bribery, obstruction of justice, and other crimes. U.S. Attorney Damian Williams from the Southern District of New York mentioned at a news conference that there are several victims in this case, though he didn't specify how many. He urged anyone who has been affected to come forward and speak with the authorities.
Information and allegations. Diddy, among other things, he has been accused of engaging in a conspiracy to foster prostitution, racketeering, kidnapping, narcotics offenses, bribery, That is the beginning.
And the feds lay this all out. That they say that basically his organization, his company, which they refer to as the Combs Enterprise, which certainly sounds more like a
mob,
like a mob
Yeah.
outfit, that it existed mainly to fuel his desires.
According to the indictment, Combs is accused of essaying women multiple times, starting in 2009 and continuing for several years. The indictment includes that between at least 2008 and the present, Combs aided, threatened, and coerced victims to fulfill his intimate desires, protect his reputation, and conceal his conduct. Williams told reporters on Tuesday, as alleged in the indictment, to carry out this conduct, Sean Combs led and participated in a racketeering conspiracy that used the business empire he controlled to carry out criminal activity. CBS News legal contributor Jessica Levinson mentioned that Combs could face decades in prison if he's convicted of the charges. She also noted that there's a chance the case might not even go to trial. Most cases do not go to trial, she said. Most cases do result in a plea deal, and we can expect that in the coming days and weeks and likely months. Sean Combs' attorney and the federal prosecutors will potentially try and find some meeting of the minds about a plea deal, but I think it's hard to escape the idea that a plea deal will have to include some prison time. The indictment says that Combs manipulated women to take part in carefully planned performances of intimate activity with male adult workers. It also claims that he arranged for women and adult workers to be flown to him. The indictment claims that Combs made sure the women participated by, among other things, giving them illegal substances, controlling their careers, using his financial support as leverage, and threatening to take it away. He also used intimidation and V. Williams mentioned that the investigation into Combs is still ongoing and that more charges could be possible. He also said that others might face charges in this case. This office is determined to investigate and prosecute anyone who engages in exploitation, no matter how powerful or wealthy or famous you may be, Williams said. The indictment mentions an incident captured by hotel security cameras in 2016. Earlier this year, CNN showed the footage, which seems to show Combs attacking singer Cassie, whose real name is Cassandra Ventura, in a hotel hallway in Los Angeles. In May, Combs apologized for what happened, calling his behavior inexcusable and saying he took full responsibility for his actions.
Attorney.
I was up. I hit rock bottom, but I make no excuses. My behavior on that video is inexcusable. I take full responsibility for my actions in that video.
The indictment says that Combs tried to bribe a hotel security staff member who stepped in during the incident to keep them quiet. It also claims that Combs called these incidents freak-offs. According to prosecutors, he was the one directing these freak-offs, often recording them and giving illegal substances to the victims to make them more obedient and compliant. He used the embarrassing and sensitive recordings he made of the freak-offs as collateral against the victims, and the indictment alleges that he maintained control over the victims in several ways, including by giving them illegal substances and threatening to take away financial support or housing, by promising them career opportunities, by monitoring their whereabouts, and even by dictating their physical appearance, Williams said.
You gotta say no to Diddy. If it's new in the building, you know he gonna get it.
Don't take your girlfriend to a Diddy party.
You can take the but he wants you.
The victims didn't believe that they could refuse Combs without risking their security or facing more Williams said. Prosecutors also accused Combs of using G's to intimidate and threaten victims and witnesses. Williams said that when Homeland Security agents raided Combs' homes in Los Angeles and Miami in March, they found firearms and ammunition, including 3 AR-15s with defaced serial numbers and a large-capacity drum magazine. William Walker, the acting special agent in charge of the New York Field Office of Homeland Security Investigations, praised those who stepped in and spoke to the authorities. Today, we shatter any false notion of impunity as we uncover the defendants' alleged pattern of manipulation, exploitation, and outright Walker said in a statement on Tuesday. Make no mistake, we are here today only because of the unwavering strength of victims and witnesses who have already endured unspeakable hardships. Combs' attorney, Agnifilo, on the other hand, released a statement on Monday night after news of Combs' arrest came out. We are disappointed with the decision to pursue what we believe is an unjust prosecution of Mr. Combs by the U.S. Attorney's Office, Agnifilo said. He described Combs as a music icon, self-made entrepreneur, loving family man, and proven philanthropist. and said he is an imperfect person, but he is not a criminal. Agnifilo said Combs has been nothing but cooperative with this investigation, and he voluntarily relocated to New York last week in anticipation of these charges. Please reserve your judgment until you have all the facts. These are the acts of an innocent man with nothing to hide, and he looks forward to clearing his name in court. But now I want to hear what you think. What do you think about Katt exposing Diddy's $50 million freak-off contract? Do you really think Diddy could end up serving 100 years? Share your thoughts in the comments below. That's all for today. We hope you enjoyed that video, and if you did, make sure to hit like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more videos like this. Stay tuned.